It's Friday, and that means we are having a casual day here on Digital Charcuterie. It is Casual Friday. My name is James Razile. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this Friday morning. Every Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be flying casual. Basically just talking about some cool things that I thought happened throughout the week. If there's anything you would like me to talk about, please send us an email at digitalcharcuterie@gmail.com. And we'll talk about that next week. We won't be getting to any emails next week for some reasons, but after that we'll start doing some email stuff. That'll be fun. Just whatever is cool that week, whatever catches your eye in the world of entertainment, we will discuss on this show, Casual Friday. And please, guys, give us a like and a subscribe to the channel. We're a new channel. We're slowly growing. Thank you to everyone that has subscribe in the last little while. Really, really means a lot. It's really tough starting up a YouTube channel, as anyone that has known. It takes a lot. You're really hidden back there, and you're just hoping to push forward and just having fun. We're just having fun talking movies right now. And there are three topics today that I want to talk about. I want to talk about Willy Wonka, I want to talk about HeMan, and I want to talk about Jon Favreau joining the Han Solo motion picture. All right, so let's start things off with Wonka. Why not? Let's start off with some Willy Wonka talk. It's recently been reported that Paul King, the director of Paddington 2, is wanted to direct the Willy Wonka prequel. Now, my thoughts on the Willy Wonka prequel are, I'm very torn on the idea. I'm not really against most movies. I'm not gonna lie. I think any idea has potential to be a good idea. That doesn't necessarily mean that it will be a good idea. So this Wonka prequel about the early days of Willy Wonka, and I guess how he gets his chocolate factory, how he creates his chocolate factory, could be a fascinating one. How he meets the Oompa Loompas. There's a story there. The Tim Burton movie, like it or not, it kind of goes into these prequel realms and gives you a snippet of what could be. Now, you don't have to like the Tim Burton Willy Wonka movie, but to understand that there is a story there on how this all came to be from somebody as talented as Paul King, who, if you haven't seen Paddington 2, I have actually not seen Paddington 2, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. The score on IMDb, I believe right now, is 8.2 out of 10. Metacritic score is around 88. People like this movie. It's made $200 million, over $200 million, I should say, at the box office, which is no small feat in this day and age when you're up against the likes of Star Wars and all the Oscar contenders and all that. Paddington 2 is one of the films that is so delightful. People are telling me that it's just joyful to watch in every respect. And if you're going to do a Wonka movie right, again, in the vein of the Gene Wilder Wonka movie, which I would guess would be the sequel they're doing. It sounds a lot like you can compare this to the Planet of the Apes. The Planet of the Apes was like Tim Burton again did Planet of the Apes. People were like, what's going on here? And then you fast forward some time, they're like, we're going to do a prequel called Rise, and we're like, is it a prequel to Tim Burton's, to Charlton Heston's? Which one is it? And of course, it's a prequel to the Charlton Heston original Planet of the Apes. And it. I mean, if you've seen those movies, you know how amazing they are. Willy Wonka, I guess, is a little bit of a different story. But, there's more than one book. There's The Glass Elevator, which is a great book. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is fantastic. So you have Willy Wonka, and then you can start your own cinematic Wonka universe, I suppose, if you really, really wanted to. And, there's nothing wrong with a Wonka. Look, movie universes. And I got a shout out to Andrew Fantasia on the Andrew Fantasia channel when he talks about The Mummy and how bad it was. And I haven't seen The Mummy either because I pick and choose wisely. I've only seen 2 movies. I don't watch movies. I'm just joking. But I started watching The Mummy. I should point that out. But he said, when he heard that Universal was doing the Dark Universe and the Cinematic Universe, that he was ecstatic because the original shared universe was the monster universe in Universal. It absolutely was. So this idea of shared universes is nothing new, but it's something that really, really, really is taking off now because of Marvel's success. And not everything needs to be a shared universe, and I would agree with that. And you look at Planet of the Apes, and Planet of the Apes, Rise, Dawn, War, it's not a shared universe, but it's a complete story in a trilogy. None of them, they're all sequels to each other, but they're like distant sequels, if you know what I mean. They you know, you don't have to watch Rise to enjoy Dawn. They kind of recap everything. I think Willy Wonka can live in that kind of a world where you're like, this is a prequel to Willy Wonka, and this is how he got his chocolate factory, and this is when the kids came in, and this is you know, before the kids come in, and this is after and then there's, you know, there's some things you could do, and I don't know, I'm sure they'll figure it out. It is funny that Wonka is the character that they're drawn to, and not Charlie, who the books were drawn to, because like I said, there's Charlie in the glass elevator, Charlie in the chocolate factory. Charlie was the character that, you know, when you in the books you were drawn to, and he was like the protagonist. But then all of a sudden in the movies, you know, Gene Wilder crushes that role, and everyone's like, "It's Willy Wonka. It's got to be Willy Wonka." So that's how I kind of feel about that. It is kind of a funny. It's funny how things change over time, and I guess as we grow older, we identify more with Wonka in a lot of ways. But I hope that this is a good children's film. At the end of the day, that's what I hope. I hope it's a good children's film. Like Paddington is a good children's film. You know, adults can enjoy it, obviously, but I hope they make it for kids, and I hope it's something fun that they can watch. Because I remember reading Charlie and the Chocolate Factory when I was in the first grade, and then I remember watching the movie that year as well. And there's something about when you read a book and you watch a movie based on a book, there's an experience there that even though the movies very rarely live up to the books, there's still something fun about that. All right, let's move on to something else from my childhood. It is HeMan and the Masters of the Universe. HeMan. I was HeMan for Halloween. One year when I was like 5, HeMan. I saw him live at Canada's Wonderland, which is kind of like a Six Flags type theme park that we have here in Ontario in Canada. And HeMan is was a huge part of my childhood. I used to step on all my HeMan action figures, and my parents would have to buy me a replacement. Just HeMan though, not Man at Arms and all the other, just HeMan. I would always step on HeMan and break an arm, and they would keep buying me his damn HeMan. I think one time they ended up getting me a Prince Adam because they're like, stop it, and they got me that. But a HeMan movie, David Goyer was tapped to direct it, I believe, and he has fled. He's like, I'm done, because he has to go work on a TV show that he's working on, which is Krypton. It was the early days of Krypton, before Superman, before Kal-El is shipped off, I guess. It's coming out soon. It might be out now. I have no idea. I did see a commercial for it, and it didn't look too bad. But it didn't tell me when it was on. So that's and don't forget, and this is Canada, where things are never on when it's on in the States. So he apparently has left the project, which leaves the project with no director. They had McG at one point. He left. Now David Goyer left. And I think, look, my feelings on the He-Man film are quite simple. Don't make it unless you understand He-Man. They tried to do Masters of the Universe in the 80s, if you remember, and it's very similar to like the Street Fighters and Super Mario Brothers and Double Dragon movies of the world of that time, where they don't quite. And this is, I got to go off topic here and rant, because that's my fear of this Venom movie. Is this Venom movie from the trailer? Look, the second trailer, whatever, could be completely different, but the look from the trailer that I'm getting is like they don't want to make a superhero comic book movie. They want to make like a real drama. And I think, look, when you're dealing with something, Venom, but He-Man especially. He-Man was a character that was designed, he was created by Mattel to sell toys. He was a toy first and before all. He's a toy. He's not a cartoon series. He's not a movie franchise. He is an action figure for little boys to play with. That's all He-Man was meant to be. And then, you have you obviously have to have the cartoon to get the kids to find out the cartoon is just an ad for those toys. And look, at the end of the day, the movie should also, in a way, be an ad for those toys. If you look at Star Wars, not so much today, but, the prequels, they were ads for the toys. George Lucas was like, look, we're going to make money off of the toys. You make an ad for the toy. Now, it doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be in your face, like, buy this toy, buy this toy. You look at the Ninja Turtle cartoon. The Ninja Turtles were not created to sell toys. It evolved into that, into Playmates being like, look, we could sell toys. Let's make a cartoon. And in the cartoon, we will create all these characters. And that's what He-Man is. And I think, but the thing that's lost in that is, for kids, those zany ideas are a boatload of fun. To kids, they see these toys, these action figures on TV, and they go, hey, that is a lot of fun. That's all it is. Because for kids, it's the color, it's the music, and it's the laughs, and it's the fast paced craziness and all that. And in a movie, look, in a He-Man movie, I'm sure right now they're like, how are we going to make this Batman Begins of the He-Man universe? But I think that is completely wrong and the wrong way to approach it. You approach it for fun. You approach it like, look, this is a kid's thing. Adults that grew up with it are going to go and watch it. But just make it fun. Make it a fun adventure with He-Man and Skeletor. And you just put that all together. And I think you can have a really good movie. I don't see why you need to even make it live action. Look, as an adult, I am more drawn to live action than to animated films. Most of the time, there are, the Pixar films once in a while that you're like, oh, look at that. But they never live in the same reality as a live action film. And I think He-Man does not need to live in live action form. We've seen that. It failed. We know he can exist. We know that world can exist in animated form. 3D animation, computer-generated animation. Nintendo's going that. We talked about it last week. Nintendo's doing with Illumination. They're doing the Super Mario Brother movie that way. That is the way to go. That is the future. That's where kids want to be. And if this is meant to sell toys, which at the end of the day, that's what He-Man is. He-Man is meant to sell toys, like I said. And so why stray from that? Keep it what it is. Make it a 3D animated film. Make it fun. Make it funny. Make it something for adults and children. But focus a little bit more on the kids. But you have like the adult humor and sensibilities a little bit more in there, so that when we have to take the kids to go see it, we are taken back to our childhood, but we can also appreciate it for what it is today. But I think I think the thing with this He-Man movie is it's pretty much dead in the water anyway, because they keep losing directors. Who knows what the screenplay is like? I really think they're trying too hard with the screenplay based on nothing really. Keep it an animated film. Keep it for kids. Don't worry about $1 billion box office. You're not going to get that with He-Man. They tried things with G.I. Joe. Doesn't work. Just go in, He-Man, animate that thing. That's what I say. Listen to me, Hollywood. I've got answers. I'm on YouTube. And our final topic today is what I'm calling # the third best Star Wars film, and that is the Solo movie. Word dropped yesterday on Thursday that Wednesday, might have been Wednesday, Jon Favreau will be voicing a very, very, very important alien character in the movie, which got a lot of people talking. What alien could it be? I'm not, is it that monkey alien with 4 arms? Is it somebody that we know, somebody new? I'm more inclined to think that it's somebody new, somebody that we have not met in the Star Wars universe yet, only because characters that we've met in the movies, we know what they sound like, and none of them sound like Jon Favreau. And would it be cool for him to be voicing Boba Fett? Absolutely. Would it make sense? Not really, unless he's doing a New Zealand accent. I just don't think that would make sense for that. Here's what I think, and this is completely wrong, I would imagine, but I think Jon Favreau voicing a Hutt would be amazing, because we know that the criminal underworld is going on. Look, I really think he's going to be playing some kind of Kingpin-ish type character. That's the voice. Someone hiring Han to do a job. And for me, I'm saying make him another Hutt. Jabba's working up the ranks. We know Jabba's Kingpin because of the Phantom Menace, but I think there could be somebody else just like a notch higher than Jabba. You can retcon that easily. And it's Jon Favreau. And at some point, that guy dies, and Jabba upserts him and takes over as the King Hutt of Tatooine. That's what I would like to see. I think he's going to be playing a Kingpin, though. This Solo movie, we didn't get anything for so long. Ron Howard would slowly tease us with little things, and now we're getting a whole lot at the very end. And I think, we're going to get more footage soon. It's coming. My guess is around, Easter's April 1st, April Fool's. Around that time, we'll probably get some more footage. The EW article stuff is fantastic. The Jon Favreau character, I don't think we should expect to see that character in the quote-unquote flesh for quite some time, because he's voicing him. I would imagine most of his stuff is done. I don't think he's going to be that. I mean, if he is that monkey alien, that's fine, but I think Jon Favreau is going to be doing just a couple of scenes. It looks like he went in for like a day of recording and left, if you've seen that picture with him and Ron Howard. And that's what I would suspect. My hope is a Hutt. Boba Fett would be cool, but I don't think that makes sense. That 4-arm monkey, sure, I have no idea who that monkey is, so it could totally be that monkey. And then if you look, there's a picture, it's the thumbnail here, there's all these characters in the background, Han Solo's in the foreground, all these characters out of focus in the back. Could be any one of those. There's something to Han's right, there's something there. there's so much to this movie that we don't know that makes it so exciting. It's so similar to the original trilogy. And, you know, and I've said this a bunch of times, how this was George Lucas's idea. George Lucas brought Kasdan in, Lawrence Kasdan, the screenwriter, and he said, I want to do more Star Wars films. These are the ideas I had. And he put a bunch of them in front of Kasdan, and Lawrence Kasdan looked at them, and he said, I want to do a Han Solo movie. I want to write that. Han Solo is my favorite character. I want to write it. And Lawrence Kasdan, if you don't know, wrote The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, Raiders of the Lost Ark. And he directed The Big Chill, and he has a repertoire. He's very talented. And that's what makes me believe in the Solo movie. And if you didn't like The Last Jedi, if you didn't like The Force Awakens, if you didn't even like Rogue One, this Solo film, I believe, is going to stand apart from all those other Disney, Lucasfilm, Star Wars films because of the connection it has to George Lucas, because of the connection it has to the original trilogy with Lawrence Kasdan at the helm. You know, and I think the reason that, you know, they fired the directors 5 months into shooting, I think because they were straying from the script, and everybody believed in the script. We kept hearing that it was the best Star Wars script ever written. And if that's the case, and your directors are taking it in a very different direction, you have to cut it. You got to cut them off, and then you got to bring somebody in who will respect what, you know, what the idea is, what the script is. If the script is good and you're making a different movie from what the script is, there's a problem there, and that's the way that I feel. But Jon Favreau, who do you guys think is Jon Favreau? Please let us know in the comments below. Is he a Hutt? Is he a bounty hunter? Is he, you know, just going to be, you know, some little rodent thing running around on the side? But apparently he's important, but who knows? And I don't know what Ron Howard's idea of importance is. Will he be Clint Howard's brother? Will he be playing Clint Howard's brother in Solo, a Star Wars story? All right, guys. This has been Casual Friday. It's been a lot of fun chatting with you. Please, again, give us a like, give us a subscribe. It can help us out. If there is anything you would like us to talk about next week, email us digitalcharcuterie@gmail.com. That link is in the description down below. Have yourselves a great weekend. I will see you next week.